welcome to the World's 2020 Draw Show. I am Dash, joined by Kobe and Freak. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning.
It is not. I know for a fact.
Well, what time is it
good
for
afternoon.
you? I just got up from a nap, so it's midday for me, my friends.
It is late night for me. I was so nervous about missing the call time that I stayed up.
Fabulous. And Kobe, how are you? Is this morning or evening for you?
I am dreaming still, I'm pretty sure. So
Oh, what are you,
Dash?
What are you dreaming of? Hopefully good group for North America.
You, Dash.
Oh.
I don't know if it's possible now that there are 4 LPL teams, but let's get it.
Dudes, I don't know about for you guys. Obviously, when the anthem or the theme comes out for Worlds, that definitely starts to generate some hype. But this show, for me, is where it all really begins, where the World Championship begins. We've already destroyed our sleep schedules for it, so that tracks. But 2, we finally get to look at some of the groups and the teams that are going to go at it in the group stage, trying to qualify for those knockout stages, of course. And this is just where all of the good anxiety and the good nerves come in, Freak.
Yeah. I mean, this is exciting. The rehearsal group draw we had an hour or so ago.
Oh, it was
we
so
got
good.
a couple of dream groups. I am so hopeful that we get some dream groups here on the real one as well. Yes, to your point, this is when World starts for me. It's actually World's ready to go.
All right. Well, with that behind us, let's go ahead and get a reminder of how this year's Worlds is going to play out in Shanghai before the draw.
The 2020 League of Legends World Championship is coming to Shanghai, China, and we're here to take a closer look at this year's tournament's format. The month-long event will narrow down 22 teams through 3 stages of competition: play-ins, group stage, and knockout stage. Worlds will begin in the play-in stage, where the top teams from Brazil's CBLOL, Japan's LJL, Oceania's OPL, the Commonwealth of Independent States LCL, Latin America's LLA, and Turkey's TCL will be joined by lower-seeded teams from Southeast Asia's PCS, North America's LCS, China's LPL, and Europe's LEC. Play-in teams will be sorted into 2 groups of 5, and each team will play 1 game against every other team in their group. Teams finishing 5th in their group will be eliminated, while the teams finishing 3rd and 4th will get 1 last shot to progress in the event by facing each other in a best-of-5 series. Those victors will earn the right to move on and play the team who finished 2nd in the opposite group in another best-of-5 series. The winner of that match, alongside the first-place teams from the round robins, will move on to the group stage. For those following along with the math, the group stage will consist of 16 teams, the 4 teams advancing from the play-in stage, and 12 teams who qualified directly into the group stage. They are the top 3 seeded teams from China's LPL, Europe's LEC, and Korea's LCK, the top 2 seeded teams from North America's LCS, and the number 1 seed from Southeast Asia's PCS. In the group stage, the 16 teams will be split into 4 groups, where each group will play a best-of-1 double round robin. The competition here will be fierce, and only the top 2 teams from each group will make it through to the knockout stage. Knockouts will see the remaining 8 teams fight through a single elimination bracket consisting of best-of-5 matches. The tournament will conclude with the World Championship Final, where the 2 top teams will play a single best-of-5 series. The winner will become the 10th team to raise the Summoners Cup and the 2020 League of Legends World Champions.
There you have it. Freak has broken it down for us, and just as the info comes across the screen, so will too the first pick of the 2020 group draw. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. TL straight away from North America, the 3rd seed, representing us in the play-ins.
Sure, of course. No surprises here. We are doing the play-ins draw first. Team Liquid won 4 LCS titles back to back to back to back. They had a rough spring. They brought in a new AD carry. They brought in a new head coach. Pretty much back on form in summer. They won the regular season, narrowly only 3rd place here in the playoffs, but honestly, the 3 NA seeds are all pretty close in power level, I would say. And this is going to be the attempt yet again for TL, rekindling a very, very good MSI 2019, a kind of lackluster Worlds 2019, but back on the stage, see if they can do it.
Yeah, there were actually a decent amount of North American fans that were pretty happy to have Team Liquid as the representative in play-ins for the region because they were so consistent during the regular split. They actually finished the regular split number 1 before dropping off in playoffs.
So, of course, only 4 teams can make it out of the play-in stage overall. Theoretically, 3 can make it out of each group, and from what I saw in rehearsal, this is going to be over in Group B. So LGD and TL are not in the same group. They're both headlining, though, as very strong teams.
Yeah, that is correct. Of course, this year with the 22-team tournament, play-ins shifted a little bit, so 2 5-team groups. We will break down a little bit more of what that means a bit later. But as you can see here, LGD, the 4th seed out of LPL. Remember, there are 4 seeds from both the LPL and LEC this year at the World Championship.
And LGG, yeah, the 4th seed for the LPL, actually came in with the lowest game win percentage of any of the teams at Worlds. Obviously, LPL extremely high in competition, but just a 55% win rate from the regular season, and in playoffs, 10 and 11 for themselves.
Every single one of those LPL teams, though, is a team to be feared at the World Championship, the dominant region as of recent. But we look for our 3rd team to be pulled out of Pool 1 here for the play-in stage.
Ooh, and Mad Lions gets
Ooh,
brought to
baby.
Team Liquid's groups. We get to start NA versus EU early here at Worlds. This is fun. Now, the #1 team in the play-in group automatically makes it out into Worlds groups. Number 2, 3, and 4 have to play best of 5s in some version to make it out, which means I'm already excited for these 2 top dogs in the group to play out. Mad Lions, the number 4 team from the LEC.
Yeah, and speaking of regular split performances, Mad Lions, they started out super strong. You know, this is a Europe's team with a bunch of rookies on it. Shadow especially, everybody got super excited for his mechanics and his aggressive play. Did get punished a decent amount, especially by Rogue in playoffs, but super excited to see them work their way through play-ins, especially since they have so many new players, and extra experience will do them well.
That's the key for me there, Kobe, mentioning how many young players are on that roster, so play-in's going to give them plenty of time to acclimate to that international stage. And just following suit here with our final Pool 1 team, PSG. Going to lock it up and go into Group 2 over there. PSG, of course, from the PCS. This is the one team that's, Kobe, having a little bit of a roster situation coming into play-ins.
That's right. They actually had visa issues with their Korean mid-jungle duo, and so they've picked up Kongyue and Uniboy to be their substitutes. And it does suck whenever those things happen, but luckily for them, those 2 players have played together as mid-jungle for a long time, and they're very good players. So it'll be interesting to see how they can come together and actually find some synergy with the rest of the team.
Yeah, worth noting that the top 4 teams over in the PCS were all very, very close in skill level. Like, very easily, those 2 players could have made Worlds. So it is just, can the cohesion be enough? The player skill is going to be reasonably close. Of course, now we're going to draw the Pool 2 teams to see which 3 teams fill out the rest of the 2 groups. 5th place in the group means you are out, your Worlds is over. 3 and 4 play each other and place the number 2 from the other side. And we get the Oceania Legacy in here, who actually clapped the OPL all year long. 1st place both regular seasons.
Sorry,
1st
Spawn.
place both playoff runs. We would have seen them MSI if that had happened. So we'll see if they can run it here.
Yeah, I talked to Spawn directly about the OPL representative, and of course they did beat his own team order. But this is a team with a bunch of returning members for the region. A lot of the players from the top teams actually left Oceania region to join North America, to join Europe, and this is kind of the put back together for the rest of the team. Of course, Tally, I think, deserves extra shout out for switching from top lane to mid lane for this team to bring it together. And of course, Raze is always one that you look at as well for big performances.
Now they slot into Group 1 alongside Team Liquid and Mad Lions. Here looking for our 6th team. It'll be V3 Esports, founded all the way back in 2017. They just won their first LJL title, beating out Detonation Focus Me, who I think most Western fans will recognize as the most dominant and popular team in that Japanese league.
Yeah, we've had a slow and steady rise out of Japanese teams in international competition. For a while, they're still not usually hailed as a top performer just yet, but you hope they can kind of do it here. Decent spring performance. Obviously, winning the summer split is a good run for them. It was a very competitive split overall, competitive sort of year overall in Japan. It's going to be a tough road ahead, though. Like, this is going to be really tough Worlds. You're going to hope they can, make it through to the best of 5 sections of the play-in stage. But, LGD, even PSG, going to be tough competition for them.
Yeah, people will recognize Boogie, at least, from MSI, from the Flash Wolves. So one familiar face.
There you go. A little bit of experience and a whole bunch of experience for some newcomers on the way. Another two. Supermassive is the next one to be picked up. This is going to be a familiar name to quite a few. Back in Worlds 2018 was the last time we saw them on the Worlds stage. Been a little bit of a rough go for them since that 2018 year. Didn't get their championship title for another 3 splits until just now. But with some pretty radical changes here in 2020 to the roster, they've made it back in.
Yeah, this is their 5th TCL title. They've actually represented the TCL most often internationally with a bunch of MSI performances for themselves. And you mentioned the roster, Zeitnot and Snowflower together, Cacao on the team, so they do have a lot of star power that have represented on the world stage before and are looking to bring that to Prime.
Yeah, the TCL. Oh, go ahead. Yep, sorry.
No, it's a good team. I think they are a solid run. I kind of power rank them right now, 3rd place in the group when you see who else gets pulled in there, because the name I'm looking for in the ball is Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, they're the big one, the scary one,
the sleeper agent.
There it is.
Oh, wait, and he's called it.
The best. UOL, by the way, have absolutely been clapping. So Cloud9 wrecked the LCS for a while. Unicorns of Love went 39-2.
Whoa!
Across the year in the LCL. They are absolutely the best team, in my mind, that the LCL has ever produced. If there is a squad to pull upsets, it is these guys. I want to see how well they can do. They've got a bit of a group of life here as well with the rework roster, PSG talent. This is a squad that can really step up. I want to see how far they can go. I mean, they so nearly won their best of 5 just last time around at last year's World, so I want to see these guys really step up.
Well,
yeah,
Boss?
I mean, Boss, Anadisic, No Man's, they're all back on the international stage and looking to go further.
Definitely a roster to be feared, and that's where I think, Freak, to your point, North American and EU fans can breathe maybe a small sigh of relief that UOL did not get thrown in as a spoiler to that Group A, so the two of them most likely fighting it out.
It's so interesting because you can get 3 teams out of the group by knocking out the number 2 side from the other one, right? It makes actually winning Group A mean even more because UOL are scary. INTZ from Brazil pulled in, and they're going to be, I believe, the last team in the first group.
Yep, CBLOL champs. Last time we saw them at Worlds was 2016. However, internationally, we did see them back in 2019 at MSI. CBLOL Brazilian fans are always some of the loudest and most passionate. I love seeing their representatives take the world stage.
Yeah, they definitely had to fight for their spot. I'm really excited, though, especially for the solo laners, because their top laner has most solo kills in the league, and their mid laner has 4th most in the league. Top laner also has a lot of deaths, but you always like to see that play style, getting those solo kills, really going for it.
You need that aggression if you want to get the win. Only one more team left to be pulled. We'll do it for the sake of due diligence, make sure that nothing went wrong here. But if it all is right,
Rainbow
sealing it out. Rainbow 7 is exactly right there.
And this is going to be a fun team to watch for. I like these guys a lot. Former Lion Gaming, it's a somewhat of a rebrand. So this is the squad that you've seen a million times in international competition. These players are quite good overall. To me, huge shout out goes to their jungler. I think he's really incredible. We've been tracking him in the Chinese Super Server solo queue. I think he's already GM there as well. He's actually really popping off. So there is a lot of individual skill here on the team. We know he's top 10 in NA solo queue as well. So something to watch for here.
Yeah, him and Shadow have been grinding the solo queue over there really hard. I will say it too a lot, with the older members leaving, it was really cool to see Odie especially give Jose Diodo, the jungler, a shout out and talking about him being the next big Latin American jungler that's really going to make the region proud.
Thanking Wei Zhao for his help there on the stage. We have our playing groups decided. I can't recall all 10 teams in order across the 2 groups from memory, but of course we did see, there they are now on our screens. Perfect timing. Team Liquid, Mad Lions, Legacy Esports, Supermassive, and INTZ will fill out Group A. LGD, PSG. Yeah, go ahead.
looks really good for Unicorns of Love. Like, if
Okay.
I'm going to see them really step up and do well, they've got a group where they can easily get second. You know, on a bad day, they get third. And then I think they can absolutely take down, you know, a representative from Group A on the other side. You know, whoever gets second or third down there and take that best of 5. I think there's a really good shot Unicorns of Love make the main stage as sort of like the upset idea of a Pool 2 team making it up here. Unicorns of Love is my heavy nod.
Yeah, I think this is where it's important to reiterate Freak's point about how play-ins will play out. Because there are 5-team groups, the first place team after the group stage from each group will automatically qualify to the group stage of the main event. Seed 5 of each group will be eliminated. 4 will play 3 within the same group. And then the winner of the 4-3 matchup from the same group will play the opposing group's 2 seed for the next spot out of the groups. So just a little bit of a reminder on how things will work here with the wonky 10-team play-in. But as Freak is calling it, Unicorns of Love, perhaps the spoiler here on the Group B side.
Yep. LGD, to me, is already the favorite of play-ins overall. I mean, the LPL has shown us that they are the dominant region in competitive League of Legends right now, so they get the nod right there. Team Liquid versus Mad Lions is, I think, the fairly obvious fight for #1 over in Group A there as well, and then the rest is fairly opened up. I'm very interested to see how the other 3 teams play out in Group A, because I don't count any of those teams out overall. On the Group B side, I don't have high hopes for V3, but the rest of it is going to be an exciting match.
Kobe, is your expectation here on A that NAEU make it out? No questions?
Huh?
Is your expectation that in Group A, NAEU teams
I am not going to set those expectations down on anybody. I was going to start out and say that I was really hoping to see Peanut versus Shadow jungle matchup here. I will settle, for some Anonymous games, but I do think this is going to be spicy. I think Unicorns of Loves as well as Supermassive are going to be pretty big contenders to try and upset the major regions.
Just rounding out some of our thoughts on play-ins as we go back inside the arena in Shanghai for the group draw of the main stage here. Of course, 3 pools to pull from. That's a tough sentence to say. Here in this one, Clear Love and MLXG taking to the stage to help us out with the draw. A couple of superstars in their own right. Love to see some of these legacy players up on the stage for the future world tournaments.
Yeah, Clear Love, a coach now, Wei Xiao, all these guys, a lot of old WE players, very famous in China.
G2, the first team polled straight out of the LEC. Obviously, the #1 seed for the region are runners-up in the World Championship last year. And Kobe, with no FPX in the tournament, they are the highest-seeded returning team from last year's World Finals.
Yeah, their kryptonite is not here. However, the LPL have sent a bunch of other extremely strong teams. And for G2, they definitely did struggle a bit in the regular season. Especially the bottom lane for sure. Everybody was looking at for some improvements. I still think Caps is going to be an incredible force, and Perks has definitely stepped it back up recently towards playoffs. G2, they look like they're returning to their big dominant form, and of course they always improve even more at international competition and show up huge for the region. So very, very big expectations for G2.
We pull out another headliner here to see who's going to be atop Group B. And speaking of great mid laners, Damwon Gaming gets pulled in. Yeah, Showmaker is so incredibly good. The LCK champions of Damwon Gaming are so good. I know some people have them as the best team at Worlds. They're top 3 for me, certainly. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, they 3-0'd their finals in pretty dominant fashion up against the 2nd seed DRX from the LCK. So this is without a doubt one of the teams to be feared, even while so much focus has been on the LPL as a region leading into this tournament.
Yeah, Damwon, not just the finals, but they dominated the region pretty heavily. They've also been so flexible. I think it's one of the super scary things to me. They've done split, early, late, team fight. They really have, shown some real great growth for the team, and some of the individual players have just been spectacular.
Okay, that was a sick Volibear shot. The Elder Dragon finish on the end of the ult.
LCK Observer's top tier.
Woo!
Woo! All right, give me some of that at Worlds, baby. All right, let's look for our third team here. Only one of two options. Of course, nothing really gets super interesting until we make it to Pool 2 and we see which of these teams are getting paired up against each other. But we got to get through the business. Top East. Oh no, TSM. I got baited by Sting Red.
Yeah,
TSM
sure.
from North America, #1 seed. We'll go straight into group number 3. What a turnaround this team had here in North America in the summer split towards the end and into the postseason.
Yeah, it definitely has been growth for TSM. Since Doublelift returned to the team being re-signed, they definitely struggled through the regular split, but in playoffs, I'd say that they adapted the best of all of the North American teams, you know, playing carry junglers, playing carry topside for themselves, showing a lot of different looks actually, and everybody as well is going to be attracted to the River Shen that got a lot of hype from Spica specifically, but there you see as well on your screen, Broken Blade playing a lot of the Lucian for themselves. They try and play very aggressive League of Legends.
Freak, I think something that can't be ignored when we talk about TSM, though, is their storied international history. Not always the best of finishes, and it's been a laser focus for them over the years to do better.
They have made it out of groups once at 2014 Worlds, where they then lost to Samsung White in the quarterfinals. Otherwise, they either got auto-seeded in the quarters or they failed to make it out. Meanwhile, speaking of teams that are not failing, Top Esports, the winners from the LPL, I am so keen on them. Their mid laner, Knight, is incredible. I am very much about this team.
Yeah, I think most people are going to have Top Esports coming in as a heavy favorite. Obviously, yes, Knight has a lot going with him in the mid lane, as a lot of people are even shouting him out as being the best mid laner in the world right now. Karsa, I think, really deserves so much credit, though, for this team. He plays so selflessly, so much for his lanes, setting up the team that it really allows them to fire on all areas of the map. Jackie Love plays aggressively, 369 plays aggressively, and it all comes together because they have so much individual talent.
Yeah, Karsa has been a world-class player for some time now, but it's so amazing to finally see him in a position where that ability might be fully realized on the international stage, and we might actually get to see him go deep into this year's Worlds tournament. MLXG now moving up to center stage to start working on those Pool 2 teams. This is where my blood starts to pump. Yep.
I'm so glad we still get to see MLXG at competitions. Possibly most exciting and my favorite jungler of all time.
Ooh, okay.
There it is.
Suning comes through as G2 Esports' Pool 2 team here over in Group A, unless there's something I'm not seeing.
No, I think you're correct. That should be right.
All right, are you guys lovers of Knight's Vow? Because SOFM is. This guy loves Knight's Vow and tank builds for junglers, you know, Warmog, Spirit Visions, more than any other player I have ever seen. Plays tank Lee Sin, plays tank Olaf. He's definitely one of the defining pieces of the team and how they like to play. I'd also like to say that been well situated to be that carry top player for the team. If that does continue to be the world's meta, people are going to recognize Sword Art there from the Flash Wolves, playing support for themselves. Huang Fong has also been playing a bunch of Jin, which I think is going to be very relevant for the coming AD carry meta.
First of the Pool 2 teams, there you have it, confirmed. Freak, slotted into G2's group, is the 3rd seed from the LPL.
All right. Well, only a couple options left for, a pull-in for Damwon. Could be Fnatic, could be JD Gaming.
It looks like a G there at the end, so I'm pretty sure it's...
Kobe's calling it, JD Gaming. Okay. This is a terrifying squad as well, though, when we talk about teams that could really cause some danger here in the tournament.
JD Gaming, to me, I mean, are maybe the scariest team to come out of the LPL, actually. Like, if you really want to just look at, like, spring and summer playoffs right there, I mean, they went 3-2 against Top Esports in the spring finals winning, and then 3-2 against Top Esports in the summer finals just barely losing. Like, these teams are close in overall power. These guys, 2nd place regular season, both spring and summer. Very, very good squad. Huge favorite for me for Worlds as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kanavi for sure. Kanavi and Zoom. LV Mao, I think, probably maybe even the best support showing up. There's just so much going with this team. They play so well together. Their macro is going to surprise a lot of people that are used to the kind of old box that people put LPL teams into. This is definitely a team with huge synergy.
So now the question is, if people want the TSM Rogue group, we cannot pull Fnatic right now.
Right,
that,
yes.
The only way you get that is if you do not pull Fnatic, otherwise it precludes it. And I know a lot of people want the TSM Rogue. Let's see what we get.
I see purple.
Gen G.
That's Fnatic. It's the purple and yellow. So unfortunately, if Freak's assumptions are correct, we won't get that Rogue group. But Fnatic going to get slotted in.
Still fun,
That's
though.
an exciting one. Yeah, very much so.
I mean, these are the most popular North American and European teams, I believe, in the same group. Regardless, Fnatic are an awesome team. I mean, having to come together. Selfmade is such a great jungler. He's really, 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 really good. Hylissang, I think, is an excellent support as well. Very aggressive, gets in there a whole lot of the time. Plays the pike. I love to see it as well. I'm a Fnatic fan. I think they are a very good team, and I want to see what they can do here.
Yeah, with Worlds being in China, I think, Hylissang, Bwipo, as well as Selfmade are all going to fit right into that style. We've seen it in their solo queue already. Selfmade, being this carry jungler, has really defined this kind of new age for Fnatic. And we do get to see some Reckless play with Doublelift as well.
Exactly. Reckless Bwipo returning to Worlds after a finals berth a couple years ago. And just to round things out here in Pool 2, DRX is pulled. Again, the second seed from the LCK. So going into the final group with Top Esports, I don't want to be drawn into that group if I'm a Pool 3 team.
Yeah, that is scary.
That is a terrifying group.
You've got Damwon JD Gaming and Top Esports DRX as two of the groups here. Like those are beastly, very strong groups, very scary. Here, DRX are excellent. So many good players on the team.
Yeah, I definitely with their bottom lane struggling a little bit recently. I know they talked about Deft having some back problems. It is kind of sad to see. I'm hoping that they have been able to jump on those quickly and they can improve for play moving on, because during the regular split Deft and Hyria were so good. So hopefully we can get to see them return to full and maximum power. I'm definitely looking forward to that group.
Without a doubt, on to our Pool 3 teams. MLXG still at the helm to round us out here. 4 teams left to be picked. Rogue is selected. If I recall from memory, this would be going into the second group because G2 already occupies group number 1, but we will wait for verification because a whole bunch of smarter people with spreadsheets are behind the scenes making sure everything's playing out correctly before I misspeak. Let's talk Rogue, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad. They won the summer regular season. They qualified for Worlds, I think, first of all teams anywhere, because once they locked in the top regular season spot, they got it on championship points. I'm glad to see that they did get to play some playoff series. They won a best of 5. They took down Mad Lions. Unfortunately, getting through G2 is always very, very tough. But Rogue are exciting. They really came out swinging here in the summer split. Hansama has been grinding a ton of solo queue games. He's an excellent player overall. I'm a big fan of him. And he gets thrown into, I think, the hardest group of death. Damwon JD Gaming, that is the toughest group Rogue could have possibly gotten. And this is an uphill fight.
It certainly is going to be. I really think that Inspired and Larson have been so good for them, especially with Inspired starting to play some more carry junglers. Good luck. That is definitely a difficult group to fight your way out of.
Yeah, that's a salute to that one right there. MCX, right? My eyes aren't playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
Machi coming in here. So that should, I assume, go straight into Group A. As they're the only representative from the PCS here in the main stage. Of course, PSG was drawn into the playing stage earlier as the second seed.
They might get forced out. We'll have to wait to see. Regardless, though, this is a kind of team that if you're saying, hey, you know, early read coming in is this is a team you want to see if you want a group of life. Regardless, though, a very competitive team here, and I don't know, people tend to sleep on PCS teams, but I think these guys are good.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of players that have been on the world stage before for themselves as well. So we'll see how they can actually hold up this time around.
Yeah, so they go into Group 1 alongside Suning and G2. Only 2 teams left to be pulled here. Groups C and D remain as the options. MLXG with the poll. It's FlyQuest from North America, so that should go straight into Group D, I believe.
Yeah, nowhere else to
my
go.
Lord. What we
Can't
didn't
go
want,
into the
but we
TSM
got
spot.
it.
Yep.
Oh, no. North
That's
America.
a tough one. This is the other big group of death. Top Esports and DRX, their actual name this time around. This is a tough road. Power People, though, and Ignar back together again on the world stage. You saw them nearly do the impossible against SKT back on Misfits. They've now got to do it here in a tough group stage against the LPL champions and the LCK runner-up. But possible, of course. Solo his first time at Worlds. This was very nearly an LCS championship roster, bringing it all the way to Game 5 against TSM.
Yep, Santorin's been great for the team. Definitely one of the best junglers in the entire league. Him plus Turtle as well, returning together to the world stage.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I love this FlyQuest team. I love this FlyQuest team, and I really do hope for their success. And if I'll say anything about their chances, it's that this is a team that I think has been counted out more times than is deserved. At least in this most recent year, being our only team to go back-to-back finals in North America. So don't sleep on that team. But of course, they got their work cut out for them as we see Gen.g drawn as our final team, the LCK number 3, which will go into Group C alongside TSM as the number 1 seed from North America.
Yeah, things get more difficult for Double Lift. I think that Gen.g have the best bottom lane in the LCK and one of the best bottom lanes at the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroying people. I think Ruler is in top form right now, especially.
Yep. World champion Ruler, he is a man to behold. I mean, I'm an 80 carry player. Ruler is just so good. I mean, look, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Also, I want to point out in this group, this is the only group that LGD from the LPL can be drawn into, since there are 4 LPL teams. There's only 1 spot to go. That's going to be interesting to watch for as well, of course, because that rounds this group out as very competitive. You have the LCS number 1, the LEC number 2, the LCK number 3, and most likely the LPL number 4.
That's very good to point out that, of course, with 4 LEC and 4 LPL teams, that if their 4th seeds from the play-ins do qualify, they will only have 1 predetermined group that they can be placed into. And those will become very challenging groups by nature of the strength of those regions. We're wrapping things up here on the stage, so I have to say thank you again to Candace for playing wonderful host there in Shanghai, and of course MLXG, Clear Love for helping us out on pulling those names as well. While they may not have given North America the best of odds, they did a good job on the pulling of the names. Although the meta of mixing up the balls has not really changed in the years that we've run the Groups Draw show, I will add.
Yep.
It's a very circular motion.
All right.
Groups here. I wrote down some stuff, by the way, as well. Assuming Mad Lions makes it out, they have to go to Group A. Assuming LGD makes it out, they have to go to Group C, which as a result means Team Liquid would go to Group B automatically as the only spot they can go to because North America is in the other groups. And so that would be Team Liquid and Rogue facing off in the group of Ultimate Death there with Damwon and JD Gaming. Which also just feels like the group of life for those squads because I feel like they are so incredibly strong here. The G2 Esports Suning one's going to be fun. Yeah, I mean,
Group D is group of death, right? I mean, no one gets out other than, like, you have to assume.
Yeah. B and D are both pretty deathy in their feelings.
There's a lot of death.
I would give maybe the death crown to Group B. As Freaks talked about. If they get through, will also be probably
I'm wrong about that. They could go Group A. I did my stuff wrong. Sorry about that.
I think Group C already has a merging bottom lane theme to me, which I think is pretty cool. Double Lift and Reckless have played against each other so many times. Ruler and Life especially, I think, going to show a lot of these supports what's up. So I'm super excited to see who gets drawn into Group C as well.
I love that, already calling out thematically from groups. What positions are we going to be highlighting? What about this Group A? It almost feels like G2 got a very favorable draw in this situation. Yep. Perhaps, the run back. They got that good karma from last year or something.
I think whichever group got Machi was going to be pretty happy.
Okay.
And so G2 with Suning and Machi, this also kind of sets them up for really good chances for moving past the group stage.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, with Suning already in the group, of course, LGD can't go into G2's one. So yeah, I take G2 over Machi. I think G2 Suning is going to be a fun match. It's going to be a close one. That's going to be, I think, an important battle because you can get seeding out of that and fight an easier quarterfinal opponent, of course. We get the round of EU versus LPL there as well. They get to fight the number 3 seed, a more defeatable team overall, so that's going to be exciting. And roughly a coin flip if Team Liquid's in that group there as well. Other good options would be something like Unicorns of Love if it goes to my predictions. UOL is the other coin flip there. So either way, that is a group that G2 fans should be happy to see. G2 players should be happy to see. And that for Suning is the fight for number 1, and I can't call it definitively for who's better.
Fair enough. Taking a look at Group B, as you mentioned, that's a scary group. Of course, Rogue, TSM, we didn't get it. It's what all the fans want. That's, by the way, when Freak was teasing what happened in rehearsal. I'll just let you all know,
got it.
so you can be even more disappointed.
Yep.
During rehearsal, we got TSM Rogue as the pick. Didn't happen. Didn't materialize in real life. But who knows? Maybe they'll both make it out of the group stage and meet for a best of 5 in the brackets.
That's the hope.
That's
this is the other group that Team Liquid could go into. Of course, Mad Lions can't go there, nor could they go into the G2 group because of same region. The only group Mad Lions could go to is down in Group D. We'll get to that one later, but this is one of the 2 options for Team Liquid for all the LCS fans watching. I'm sorry, Team Liquid, you got to the play-ins, and this one's a tough one. If this is the coin flip that you pick up here, Damwon and JD
Growth
Gaming.
mindset, Freak.
Yeah, growth mindset. Can you level up
is.
to this level? I mean, hey, they beat the former world champions at MSI last year. Who knows? Regardless, so I mean, these are 2 of my top 3 teams in Damwon and JD Gaming. They are exceptionally talented players, and I mean, this could easily be a preview of the World Final. That we know that those teams, if they make it out, are on opposite stages of the bracket at that point on. These are just excellent teams. Not much more to say.
Actually, that to me is what seems kind of wild here. I could see both Damwon JD being a final. I could also see Top DRX being a final. So you potentially have finals previews in 2 of the groups. And going further down the line on Group D here, Kobe, while we did talk about how difficult this will be for FlyQuest, I'm very intrigued and interested to see how the FlyQuest I know from North America attempts to handle these 2 top teams of Top Esports and DRX, play style wise.
Yeah, you're going to have some safety mitts on when you try and handle these ones because it is going to be extremely dangerous. For the FlyQuest side, I think they really have evolved, over the course of the entire year, the team. So I think they are pretty flexible in what they can bring to the table. I know Solo, especially as the only person on FlyQuest who's new to the world stage, is extremely excited. He's going to definitely have his hands full, especially against Top Esports, because they like to send a lot of jungle attention up there early on. And Solo has talked about, being the glue man, being able to play whatever the team wants. If he tries to play, a weak matchup and weak side without extra resources in there, that is going to be a really tough task. So good luck.
Good luck, FlyQuest, on the deep sea quest for that world championship. Group C is the last one that I want to hit on real quick. Team Seoul Mid, Fnatic, Gen.g, of course. I think that this is a favorable draw for TSM, considering in a lot of cases there are other options. Not saying it'll be an easy group by any means, but for the North American 1 seed, they should be pretty happy here. Yeah,
this is maybe the only group you could maybe say, maybe TSM could win this group. I think there's very few other draws where you can come in having a reasonable shot at based on how LCS is done historically, to say, hey, maybe this is one that TSM can top. It is possible here. TSM Fnatic is going to be a very, very fun match. Gen.g, of course, is a very good team as well, so we'll see how that goes, but they were certainly a tier below the really top-end LCK teams to me. So Fnatic, of course, we saw them really step up last year at Worlds. We saw them beat RNG for example, right? So we had Reckless getting the better of Uzi. Reckless can get the better of Doublelift and Ruler here as well, quite possibly. So that can be a fun one to watch for. This is a group that Fnatic can win. This is a group that gen.g can win. This is the only group that LGD can go into, and I think it's even a group that LGD could win.
Yeah, I know a lot of LCK fans, and I was talking to Atlas as well. Actually thought, gen.g being more consistent than Dragon X would actually even be a more scary team. So it actually, as you're talking about it being hard to draw a group for TSM that looks good, I agree, and this one is definitely going to be scary. But regardless, you're going to have to work your way out anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly, and maybe the bot lane focused group is the right group for Doublelift to finally prove himself on the international stage. Well, with our 4 groups here decided, honestly, our 6 groups, because we should not forget our playing groups as well, decided, let's give you some insight into how we'll be covering Worlds 2020 from Shanghai. Now, casting will be a 3-city approach, with your favorite casters bringing you all of the action from play-ins to the finals from Berlin, Los Angeles, and Seoul. Our friends in Berlin from the LEC studio will be bringing you World's Countdown to kick things off daily. Most analyst desk segments and remote interviews will be happening from Berlin as well. Then, to wrap things up and say good morning to some of our North American fans, those of us here in Los Angeles will be bringing you World's Cooldown, presented by State Farm. A recap of the day's action with a look ahead at what the next day will bring. In short, we've got plenty of coverage going into what is sure to be another action-packed World, so don't miss out on all of the Riot Games channels. Oh, and sorry, one final thing. Stop asking who's casting Worlds, okay? As we all know, Worlds casters are selected by sending an Iron-level League of Legends player to Mount Targon with a single gold coin in his pocket. Now, after delivering said gold piece to a shaman, the names of this year's casters will be delivered by a swan to Deficio's doorstep. We anticipate that all things will be ready for an announcement in the next 48 hours, a.k.a. soon. TM, all right? So we can stop asking. Boom. Is that clear to you, gents?
Yeah. I mean, right. I think it'd be weird if I'm on the draw show and they're not casting Worlds, but if that's what the pigeon says, it's what the pigeon says.
First of all, it's a swan, freak. You didn't even listen. It's a swan on Deficio's doorstep.
When you talk, Dash, I don't listen. That's just normal.
All right, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. Well, so Freak doesn't even know if he's casting Worlds, so how could you at home know if he's casting Worlds? You got to wait for that swan, I promise you. It is going to be an interesting Worlds, guys, a Worlds like none other. I just want to give you both maybe a platform, final thoughts here before I send you off to the dive live to talk a little bit more analytically about some of the stuff we saw here today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been a year like no other, James, so I would expect nothing less from Worlds. I've already been having fun just watching the solo queue on the Super server from all of the teams, heading over there early on to play. So I'm super excited to see, what meta does emerge, especially since patch 1019 is coming out tonight, today, tomorrow, whatever time we're in.
Exactly.
Right now.
It's going to be about 5
we're
hours.
in the Twilight Zone, so it's early. It's coming out soon. That's the World's patch.
Woo! Freak. Caitlyn Nerfs, good choice. Yeah, I mean, I like this a lot. We get a lot of really cool previews right off the bat. We get 2 different exciting NA-EU groups. We get the play-in one with Team Liquid battling Mad Lions. That's going to be fun. We get the same thing with TSM versus Fnatic. Also a really exciting match. We get a G2 warm-up game against LPL number 3. We know G2 can't quite take down the number 1 squad from LPL, but you get the warm-up game against Suning. We'll see it try again in quarterfinals afterwards. Like, that's going to be fun and exciting. I mean, I'm sorry for Rogue. TSM, to be fair, would have been harder for you. So, you get a slightly easier group than what could have been. But that's tough luck. I'm sorry for you guys there who were excited for that run because that's tough. Damwon, JD Gaming is the group of death. They are 2 of the 3 best teams at Worlds to my mind. And that is just like, just watch magnificence happen in that group.
Well, a whole lot was just cemented within the last hour when it comes to Worlds 2020. Of course, a little still left to be decided when it comes to those play-in teams qualifying into the group stage. That, however, is going to do it for Freak and myself. But Kobe, Mark, and Isaiah will be bringing you a special edition of the Dive Live where they'll give you an in-depth look at the draw and answer your Twitter questions. All that is coming up in just 3 short minutes. It's Worlds, baby. Let's go.
It's Worlds!